Hi, Karis Brown Malloy here. This is the Starseed vlog for September 15th, 2011. I'll try to get through this quickly, and I'll try to speak very loud because there's a lot of noise around. I'm on my porch in Sperryville, and although it looks like I'm in the middle of nature because of this beautiful plant, it's also very loud here because I'm actually between two really busy roads, and there are lots of trucks going back and forth and some type of construction that I don't know if you can hear in the video or not, but I'm trying to talk over it. Anyway, so that's why this will hopefully be quick. And what's been going on, what's going to be going on, I'm getting back into doing more work. I just did a radio show with Kate Valentine. The show is called Viewpoints. We recorded it last Saturday night, and it went out across New York. It was really fun. I was a little sleep deprived, so my voice was kind of froggy and my thoughts didn't really flow so well until I kind of got warmed up. But it was still a good time. There's another big truck. And yeah, that was great. This weekend I will be on Otherworldly Radio with Brad and April, and that will be Sunday night. I'll put the links to both down below in the information section. I'll put the recorded interview with Kate Valentine and also the link to where you can go to listen to Otherworldly Radio, and that's an online radio station. So that'll be easier for some of you to tune into, although Kate Valentine, you could have heard her online too, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Anyway, that's what's happening right now. Now on to the point of today's video, which is about emotional connection and worship. And the worship is kind of a dicey term because I might not be talking about what you think I'm talking about, and it might end up changing some minds about the way that they approach their relationship to the divine, which is what I'm kind of going for because we're evolving. Anyway, I'll come back to that. So, first about emotional connection. I've talked before about addiction, about stealing energy and giving energy and things like that. And yes, these are also psychological concepts. It's also true that we become addicted to certain neuropeptides that then invade our body cells, and when that cell reproduces, then it has a lot more receptors for that neuropeptide to get into, and all of these things which are talked about already. The energetic connection is also in the mix, though. People try to distill psychology and emotional concepts into something that can be measured by the systems that we already had in place, and that's just not realistic, or else there's no progression going forward. Now we're finally getting more sensitive instrumentation that can measure some of these things. So the field is progressing, and just because we don't know how to measure something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Anyway, moving on to what I meant to talk about. Now, emotional connection. It's not bad to be connected. Connection happens whenever there's love or any strong feeling at all. And the difference between positive and negative connection is what it makes your heart do, pretty much. Now, there's a huge addiction going on right now in our culture on the planet at this time of those who, for instance, have access to a computer and so can be watching this vlog, of addiction to negative news, to something to worry about. This is natural. It's part of what we're coming out of, the animalistic nature of old humanity, and that is needing to pay attention to something that's dangerous. If something's fine, oh yeah, well, that's great, it's happy, it's good news, fine, leave it be. Let's focus on the stuff that may be dangerous or that may be harmful, because those are the things that are going to provide a threat that we need to watch, that we need to be sure that we know what's going on with them. So it comes from a natural place. However, the difference is that now that we're graduating into a more cosmic sort of being as divine humanity on this planet, what's happening is that when we do things like watch a news story that just makes us depressed, will not affect us, will probably never affect us, about someone random that something horrible happened to, that we have no intention of helping with, that we have no power over, it just brings us down. Who exactly does that serve? This isn't to say that we should all remain in denial or very sheltered. It just means that when you see something negative, first of all, don't go chasing after it, because there is something to keeping your vibration as high as possible in your everyday life. That's a huge point of where we're going as humans. But when you find out about something that's negative, then send a blessing to it. Send a prayer for it, send a healing intention to it. It has been well documented what the power of prayer or intention setting can do from a distance, from far and far away. You don't even have to know the details, but if you send a healing thought or you send a blessing thought, things happen, and that doesn't bring down your vibration as much because you're healing a situation, and we're all connected, so you actually are. It's not just that you're seeing it and letting it make you dissolve into pieces as well. So, emotional connectedness, it's okay, but make sure that you're on the up end of it. Not that you're allowing yourself to be pulled down all the time by the things that you're emotionally connected to. Feeling compassion for someone who's in a bad state is great, but then don't stop at that compassion. That's not the end. That's what should be the catalyst to then allow you to use some of your divine energy to increase the vibration of that situation that is calling out for your attention, because it needs to be increased by your attention and by your intention and your love. So that's the emotional connectedness part. And that goes along with what we need to be doing for Gaia. It's just a reminder, I'll be giving them out as much as I remember to, that send healing thoughts, send positive thoughts to the world, send what it would look like in your imagination for us to live on a completely healed planet with all of the systems in tune with each other, being animal kingdom, mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, all of these kingdoms that are living all together. We're not separate, no matter how far away something is on the planet. There aren't fences up between the different kingdoms. Everything circulates around, everything intermingles. So that's why these thoughts that you have, even if they go out to something that seemingly you have no connection to, you do, and you can help it. So when you send these healing thoughts to Mother Earth or to Gaia, then they help her, I'll say it again, because this has been told me by Gaia, literally more than you can imagine. Literally. So I know literally is an overused term, but use it in context here. More than you can imagine. You don't have to know exactly what it is. Just know that it's big, know that it makes a difference, and do it. Alright, now that we've covered that, let's move into the worship category of this video. So that's been a term that's been coming up a lot lately, worship. People have asked me who I worship, what I worship, and the truth is that I don't worship anything, because worship is an old slave term, not slaves ethnically, slaves of our entire race. When you worship something, it's a method of control. I'll come back to that. When you love something, you are feeling the unity and both parties are free. When you worship something, you are putting yourself in bondage because you see that you are below this thing that you worship up on this pedestal. And you're also attempting to control the thing that you worship, saying, okay, well, I'll give you this energy, you give me what I want to. That's not what it's supposed to be. That's not what it is. Now, how I do feel about, say, my contacts or my guides is that we're connected, we are related, not literally necessarily, but the same way as they say all of humanity are brothers. We're all kindred, and these things are too. It's kind of like an older sibling relationship, actually, that yes, I'm being taught and instructed, but it's not a higher lower kind of thing. It's just that they understand more about some things, not everything. I understand more about some things. Just as true with every single person on the planet. We all have our little gifts. And it's not worship. Worship would imply that you're pulling energy, that you're seeing something as greater than you. And so what can happen in order for you to transform this old worship term into the new one that we're evolving into is to find the common link. And this is an energetic thing. This is just thinking about something and sending love to it, because when you send love, you open up your heart, you connect with something, and then you're sharing a life energy that makes everything grow. It's not taking, or it's not giving and expecting return, which is really still just taking. So when you send love to a situation, even if it's something that you want changed, where ordinarily you would go and say, God, take care of this for me. We're graduating out of that. So now what you do is you imagine the situation, and sure, you can invoke the divine presence if you want, that powers and that is all things and all of the cosmos. You can do that. But rather than saying, take care of this for me, which it's okay if it's a really, really dire situation, but let's try to be a little bit more empowered than that. You think about the situation, and then you fill it with love, and you fill it with positive energy, and you say, I don't need to understand exactly how it's going to go, but it's going to be better. Not, please, 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 please make it better. No, it is going to be better. That's the difference between requesting and setting an intention. So, Try it out. See what happens, as I always say, and also as I always say, don't listen to everything I say or anything I say as dogma. Research it yourself. Do your own external research, which is finding from other sources, and internal research, which is using your own heart knowledge, which is connected to the divine. We all have it. We are all able to access it. We just need to find the methods that are easiest to do that with, or via. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Just as a reminder, think about what you think about. Pay attention to where your mind's going. Pay attention to how your thoughts make you feel. Pay attention to whether they're constructive or destructive. The reason that the quote, good conquers evil is so prevalent is because it's true. When a thought is constructive, building, positive, growth-oriented, then it's just simply more powerful because it's healthier than a thought that's destructive, breaking down, trying to end something. So keep yourself on the constructive side, and you'll see what happens. It'll happen probably very quickly. Try to go 1 hour without thinking a negative thought. Then once you can do an hour, try to do 2. Then try to do a day. See the changes that happen in your life, because they most certainly will happen. Anyway, we don't need to go and spread this to people who don't want to hear it. Just talk about it to people who do, if there are any around you. Or, better yet, don't say anything and just be who you are. Be completely present, shine your light, and that does more good than anything else possibly could. So, go in peace, and I will see you next week.